Good day, everyone. My name is Angelika Felasol. Today, the Group 4 will discuss the global and regional economic integration.
So, good morning everyone. My name is Shierelyn C, and this is my topic is we talk about GATT. The General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade is a series of rules governing trade that were first created in 1947 by 2023 countries. By 23 countries, GATT has been credited with substantially expanding global trade, primarily through the reduction of tariffs. So, the this is my explanation. The General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade got signed in 1947 by 23 countries is a treaty minimizing barrier to international trade by eliminating or reducing quotas, tariffs, and subsidies. It was intended to boost economic recovery after World War II. So, my second topic is WTO. WTO, the World Trade Organization, developed as a result of the Uruguay Round of GATT, formed officially on January 1, 1995. The concept of the WTO had been developed for several years. As explained on its website, the WTO is the only global international organization dealing with the rules of trade between nations. So this is my explanation of WTO. The World Trade Organization is the global international organization dealing with the rules of trade between nations, and its heart are the WTO agreements negotiated and signed by the Book of the World's trading nations and ratified in their parliaments. The goal is to help producers of goods and services, exporters and importers conduct their business. So that's all. That's my topic.
Good day, everyone. I am Rogilyn and Landero, the second reporter. And now, I'm going to discuss about the regional economic integrations, the four main types of it, and also the pros and cons. What is regional economic integrations? Regional economic integrations, it has enabled countries to focus on issues that are relevant to their stage of development, as well as encourage trade between neighbors. Regional economic integrations, it is something like a process of agreement between sa countries in a specific geographic region para ma-reduce or ma-remove or kanang something ma-eliminate ang trade of barriers. Then kana nga agreement can take various forms such as free trade agreement, custom unions, common market, and economic unions that I will discuss after this one. The primary goals of regional economic integrations are to promote economic growth and also to increase ang competitiveness within sa regions ug ma-enhance ang efficiency of productions. And now let's move on to the four main types of regional economic integrations. The first one is free trade area. Free trade area, this is the most basic form of economic cooperations. In this type of regional economic integrations, the member countries remove all the barriers to trade between themselves, pero they are free to independently determine their own one trade policies within sa non-member countries. Ang free trade area, ang mga goods and services can move freely within sa members countries da lamang. Example ng ini isang NAFTA or ang North American Free Trade Agreement pero na-replace na ng United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement or USMCA. It was a free trade area na aim is to reduce trade business between sa three countries, those US, Canada, and Mexico. The second one is custom unions. Customs union, this type provides for economic cooperations as in a free trade zone. In this type, ang barriers to trade are removed between sa member countries. Ang primary difference ng custom unions sa free trade area is that ang members nag-agree to trade with non-member countries in a similar manner. This means that ang member countries, as what I have said earlier, is nag-agree to treat goods coming from non-members countries in a uniform manners lamang regarding sa tariffs. Ang example ng custom unions is ang GCC or Gulf Cooperation Council. It is a cooperation council for Arab states of the Gulf website composing of GCC are those Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and United States Emirates. The third one is common market. Common market, this type allows for the creations of economically integrated markets between some member countries. It is a form of regional economic integrations. The trade barriers are removed as any restrictions sa member of labor and capital between some member countries. Same sa custom unions, there is a common trade policy for trade with non-member nations. Ang primary advantage lang mga di is ang mga workers is di na kinahanglan ng visa or work permit para mag-work in another country, in another member countries or a common market. Example is the common market for Eastern and Southern Africa or COMESA is the largest regional economic organizations in Africa. It has a free trade area with 19 member states and launched a custom unions in 2009. The fourth one is economic union. This type is created when countries enters into an economic agreement to remove barriers to trade and adapt common economic policies. This type is refers to an agreement between sa countries that builds upon sa features ng common market. It allows products, services, and even workers na move over borders freely. In an economic union, member states not only establish a common market with a free movement of goods, services, labor, or capital, but also it allows strive for deeper integrations by harmonizing ng mga economic policies including ang fiscal and monetary policies. An example of this is ang European Union or EU. It is a unique partnership between the 27 European countries known as member states or EU countries. And now let's move on to the pros and cons of regional economic integrations. The first one of pros is trade creations. These agreements create more opportunities for countries to trade with other countries by removing sa mga barriers to trade and investment. Due to reductions or mga removal of tariffs, ang cooperations is nagresult sa mas cheaper na prices for consumers in the black countries. In the study conducted, it indicates na ang regional economic integrations is significantly contributes sa medyo mataas na rate sa pag-unlad ng mga less developed countries. Second is employment opportunities. In this, by removing sa restrictions on labor movement, ang economic integrations can help sa pagpa-expand ng job opportunities. However, with economic integrations, ang employees they can move freely and it may leads to greater market expansions. Then the last one sa pros is ang consensus and cooperations. In this, ang member nations may find it easier to agree sa smaller members of countries. Regional understanding and similarities may also facilitate closer political cooperations. And while on the other hand, the cons involved in creating regional agreement includes the following. First is trade diversions. Ang flip side of trade creations is ang trade diversion. Ang member countries may trade more with each other than with non-member nations. This means that may possible na mo-increase ang trade with a less efficient or mas expensive producers kay tungod isyahon da sa isa ka member ng countries. In this sense, ang weaker companies can be protected sa wala tuyuan na paggamit ng black agreement acting as a trade barriers. In essence of this, ang regional agreement have formed new trade barriers sa mga lugar or bansa outside of the trading bloc. Then the third one is employment shifts and reductions. In these countries may move productions sa mas cheaper pa na labor markets and member countries. Similarly, ang workers may move to areas where they can gain access sa mas better pa na job and wages. Job and wages. Then the last one is loss of national sovereignty. With each new round of discussions and agreements within the regional bloc, nations may find that they have to give up more of their political and economic rights. The concept of the loss of national sovereignty is typically refers to situations where a nation state's ability is to make independent decisions and governs itself is diminished or compromised. That's conclude my part. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. By the way, I am Angelika B. Now let us proceed to the major areas of regional economic integration and cooperation. First, we have NAFTA in North America. NAFTA means the North American Free Trade Agreement. It came into being during a period when free trade and trading blocs were popular and positively received. So before NAFTA was established, it was first a negotiation or an agreement between the two countries, which is the United States and Canada. So in 1988, the United States formed an agreement with Canada. Later, it was implemented. Then, years passed by, United States also formed an agreement with the Mexico. And since Canada wanted to preserve its rights, so it became the agreement of the three countries. So the NAFTA, or the North American Free Trade Agreement, was made to encourage the trade between Canada, United States, and Mexico. This is to reduce the tariffs, trade barriers, and to have a free trade zone so that the companies of each countries will benefit in transferring their products and goods. Actually, NAFTA is not now effective because in July 1, 2020, the NAFTA was renamed or reestablished as a United States Mexico Canada Agreement, or the USMCA. So it was mutually beneficial win for North American workers, farmers, ranchers, and businesses. So NAFTA is now the United States Mexico Canada Agreement. Then the next is the European Union. The EU in Europe, or the European Union, was originally began in 1950. This was to end the frequent wars between the neighboring countries in the Europe. So the European Union is the most integrated form of economic cooperation. So the European Union was formed or was established by these six founding nations, which is the France, West Germany, Italy, Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. So then later on, the European Union has 27 members countries. So these are the Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Republic of Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, and the Sweden. So it operates, the European Union operates an internal market which follows free movement of goods, capital, services, and people between its member states. Next is the Mercosur in the South America. It means Common Market of South or the Mercado Común del Sur. It was originally established in 1988 as a regional trade agreement between Brazil and Argentina. So, actually, the Brazil and Argentina are long-time rivals. So, to improve its um, relationship, they establish or form an agreement that made Mercosur. And then, as the Mercosur was expanded in 1991, this included the Paraguay and Uruguay. Then, over a past decade, Bolivia, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Valenzuela has also become a member. Mercosur was composed nearly half of the wealth of Latin Americas. It was also the fourth largest trading bloc after the European Union. Then the next is the Asian in Asia. Asian means the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So it was created in 1967 by five founding members, which are the Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Singapore, and of course the Philippines. So since its inception, Myanmar, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and Brunei has also joined the association. So the Asian primary focus is the economic, social, cultural, and technical cooperation, as well as promoting its regional peace and stability. Although less emphasized today, one of the primary early mission of the Asian was to prevent the domination of Southeast Asia external power. These are the China, Japan, India, and the United States. However, in 2002, the Asian formed an agreement to China and signed a free trade agreement. So it came effective in 2010 and it was named as ACT-FTA or the Asian China Free Trade Area. Also in 2009, Asian and India also signed an agreement and it became Asian-India Free Trade Agreement. In 2009 also, Asian signed a free trade agreement with the New Zealand and Australia. The next is the APEC, also in Asia. APEC means the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation. It was established or founded in 1989 by the 12 countries in an informal forum. It was because in January 31, 1989 in Seoul, South Korea, the idea of APEC was publicly broached by the former Prime Minister of Australia, which is Bob Hawke. He broached the idea of APEC. Then later on, in 10 months, the 12 countries met in Canberra and established the APEC. Then these 12 countries are Australia, Brunei Darussalam, Canada, Indonesia, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, New Zealand, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and the United States. So APEC is also the only regional trading group that uses the term member economies rather than countries in indifference to China. This was because when APEC has 21 members, which are the Australia, Brunei Darussalam, Canada, Chile, People's Republic of China, Hong Kong, China, Indonesia, Japan, Republic of Korea, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Peru, Philippines, Russian Federation, Singapore, Chinese Taipei, Thailand, United States of America, and the Vietnam. So it was these members that the APEC called its members as member economy. So Taiwan was allowed, or the Chinese Taipei was allowed to join the association, but the Taiwan should name as Chinese Taipei. And then the last is the GCC of the Middle East and Africa. GCC means the Corporation Council for the Arab States of the Gulf, or also known as the Gulf Cooperation Council. This was created in 1981 by the 6 members, which are the Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. The GCC was a political and economic organization which focuses on trade, economic, and social issue. It became as much a political organization as economic one. Among its various initiatives was the coordination of the unified military presence in the form of Peninsula Shield Force. The Gulf Cooperation Council was established to unite among its members based on their common objective and their similar political and cultural identity, which rooted in Arab and Islamic cultures. And that is the major areas of regional economic integration and cooperation. The purpose of this trade agreement is to reduce, of course, the tariff, trade barriers, and to have its companies of each countries a peaceful trade with its members. So, the purpose of their agreement was to have a peaceful trade within their or out of their countries. This also to have more exchange of goods and products within to its members of the corporation or association.
Hi everyone, my name is Roland A. Hinampas, and I'm from Group 4, Chapter 6, and my topic is all about how do this trade agreement and efforts impact business. Overall, global business have benefited from the regional trade agreements by having more consistent criteria for investment and trade, as well as reduce barriers to entry. It means that governments often enter into bilateral trade agreements with other countries with the aim of reducing tariffs and barriers to business and establishing a free trade area or common market. Kibali pasabot nga ni kay kibali sa duha ka countries may ila agreement para ang ilang mga baydonon or mga taxes nila is gamay-gamayan ma-reduce. Kaya kunwara ang free trade agreement is dako yung baydan nila ng ilang mga tax. Next is how does peace impact business? Military conflict can be extremely disruptive to economic activity and impede long-term economic performance. Kaya diba kung may gira, way mamalit sa imo tindahan kay may gagira, tapos mga igo yan ang bala, malugi na ko dayon. Kung may peace, kung waray gubot, waray gira, ang sa imo area dapit, mas damo ang mamalit. Ang pinaka-importante ganyan na ang area na dapat dili siya prone ng mga gira. Next is the staffing. Staffing, it's easier to recruit skilled labor in the country conditions are stable and relatively risk-free. Ngayon sa staffing, kay ang process ng staffing is hiring kasi ang mga eligible candidates in the organization or company for specific position. Kiba sa staffing kibali ngani mo makita kibali mas dali da ka maka-recruit ng mga highly na mga employee para yan dali din mo makita ngani ang pag-recruit ng isa ka tao sa iyon na position. Then next is the operation. In unstable environments, companies fear loss or damage to property and investment. Kay di ba sa anisab sa operation isab kay ang iba na company is mahal yon makakuan sila diba pag mag-hire sila sa mga tao kibali naman grabe ka strict kay kundi sa good is basin malugi ang ilang kumpanya or kuan isab sila yon basta malugi siya kay tungod sa dili mga highly skilled ang ilang mga employee. The next regulation, unclear and constantly changing business rules make it hard for firms to plan for the long term. Kibaling na sa regulation is pinaka-importante gid sa isa ka company is ang regulation niya kay at kibali kun ang isa kuan is an manager mag-istorya nga na siya mag-istorya siya sa tubangan tapos wa kasabot ang mga employee. Isa yung tendency yon na is makadaw ng company kay at kibali may ilagihimo tapos deliver amo kay amo lagi wala magkasinabot ang manager og ang mga employee amo sa regulation. While the currency convertibility and free flowing capital, often countries experiencing conflict often impose capital controls, restriction on money going in and out of their countries, as well as find that their currency may be devalued or liquid. It means that currency convertibility is the ability to exchange our currency for another at a given conversion rate. Kibali nga sa convertibility is kung ang imo kwarta sa i-exchange siya pero same amount lang yapon siya. Given conversion rate at kiba sa mga example sa mga anato kwarta kibali nga ni ibaylungan to sa at kiba mga dollar, mga euro, amo yan siya ang mga convertible na pwede mabayluhan. Ang purpose sa business is to enable an efficient cross-border deployment of physical, financial capital investment financing purposes. Then next is the United Nations. The United Nations was formed in 1945 as the end of World War II to replace the League of Nations, which had been formed in 1919. Its original goals remain the same today. Ang sa United Nations is ang purpose na niya is maintain niya ang international peace and security. And that's all. Thank you.